Welcome back. Still in the studio with me today is Wong from Tinder Malaysia. In the last segment, Pang Yao was sharing with us the issue of malapportionment, gerrymander, and the equalization as a possible resolution of those problems. Now, picking up from that point, PY, I'm a voter, let's say, I'm a voter in Kapa, and looking at this this delimitation exercise that's going on or that's about to take off, let's say I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy because going back to the one person, one vote, one value, I look at, say, Sabak Bernam and I say, oh, the difference is too much. Now, what are my rights as a registered voter? What can I do? I'm unhappy with the proposed delimitation. What can I do?
Before you can know, Haris, that you are happy or unhappy, you must have information.
Yes.
You must have comparative information.
Okay.
For example,
before you get there, let's just say I know I'm in Kapa and I compare with Sabak Bernam and I say, oh, I don't like this. The difference is too much. My vote is of smaller value to the voter in Sabak Bernam. What can I do?
If you have the information,
yes,
you will need to assemble 100 voters in your constituency to register as an objector.
Okay, I want to get this clear. If I'm unhappy in Kapa, I need to find 99 others who together with me then make up 100 and we register as objectors.
Yes.
Register with whom?
With the Election Commission. You will assemble these 100 voters and submit an objection in one compilation.
It's a letter, it's a what?
It can be a letter.
Is there a standard form?
There are no standard forms.
Okay, so it's simply this 100 registered voters in my constituency have to submit a letter objecting to the proposed redelineation.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, but you said a very important thing just now. You said I would need to have the information. Now, how do I get this information? I am in Kapa. I want to know what are the proposed redelineation for the other areas to see whether we are equal or that the inequality is not too big. How do I go about getting this information?
Let us say the Election Commission is using the 2013 electoral roll.
Okay.
And then we have some numbers to talk about.
Okay.
You know your average is 93,000.
This is in Selangor.
In Selangor.
Okay.
In Kapa, you have 150,000, say, with the new maps.
Okay.
You know straight away, this is too much.
This is by looking at the Electoral Roll 2013.
Yes.
Comparing Kapa with, say, the other constituencies.
Correct.
Okay, so that is one looking at the Electoral Roll.
So you know you have access.
Okay.
You can protest.
All right.
That is one way.
One way is look at the Electoral Roll that they are using 2013 and compare the number of constituents, voters in my constituency,
yes,
with others.
Correct.
In Selangor.
Yes.
Okay, that's
so
one.
that's one part of it.
Okay.
The EC has been rumored, I would say, to say that if you don't come up with an alternative proposal with a map, they will not consider your objection.
Okay, so as you submit your protest, you must come up with an alternative.
They expect a counter proposal with a map.
Me, an ordinary rakyat, as I submit my objection, must put in a counter proposal with a map.
Yes.
Wah, banyak susah already. Okay, what else?
That is one of the barriers because the Federal Constitution 13th schedule gives the EC very wide latitude in deciding what is a fair number or an unfair number.
Okay.
Because of this so-called rural weightage.
And what is the time? Is there a time limit for 100 objectors to put in their objection to the EC?
Let's say tomorrow the EC gazettes and announce the start of the delimitation exercise. From tomorrow, you have 1 month to study the maps, make a comparison with your neighboring constituency or with Sabah Bernam, and if you are unhappy, start scrambling around to look for the other 99 objectors.
Okay. Now that's a very limited time with which to work.
Extremely limited.
Extremely limited. But you said once they have announced today, I then have to study the maps.
Study the maps.
That would be the map of the new proposed delineation for Kappa.
Yes.
And the other.
And all the other maps.
Okay. So how do I get my hands on these maps?
The EC will display the maps at a display center. This display center could be from the past, could be a district office,
okay,
a land office,
okay,
or a local council.
So I want to be clear. I am a voter in Kappa. I go to my district office, and in that district office, all the maps of all the constituencies will be on display?
No, only Kappa will be displayed there.
Okay, but I want to now see the maps for the other constituencies in Selangor, so I can compare.
Then, what you need to do is to take a photograph of the map in Kappa,
okay,
and then photographs of all the other 21 maps in the 21 other constituencies in the whole state of Selangor.
I have to travel through all the constituencies, take photographs, and come back and compare with my own.
Not only that, after taking the photographs, you will have to assemble them like a jigsaw puzzle. After assembling, you have to analyze to see which are the high density, which are the low density parliamentary constituency.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to look at it from the point of view of the average citizen out there.
Yes.
Who has to work possibly about 8 hours a day.
Yes.
Go home, look after the kids.
Yes.
And then still concerned about his electoral process, want to check.
Yes.
He is now required to travel through all the other constituents. Why can't EC just put up the maps on their website?
That is actually a very good question. And if you are to consider the practice of developed nations,
okay,
advanced nations, which we are aspiring to and we expect to achieve by 2020, that should be the practice. Digital maps online.
Isn't EC doing that? Are they not putting digital maps of the proposed redelimited areas on the website?
Well, if they are planning that, we are not aware of it. That's one of it. Number two, we also have another barrier. Normally, these maps, we expect them to be available for sale. We wrote into all the 14 states and federal territory, excluding Labuan and Putrajaya.
You wrote into whom?
EC.
Okay.
Applying to buy the maps for the coming delimitation exercise.
Okay.
Most of the reply were that the maps are not available because the delimitation exercise hasn't started.
Okay.
This is fair enough.
All right.
Then we got one very disturbing letter that say the maps will not be available for public sale because they are not gazetted and passed by Parliament.
So they will only be, the implication of that letter is they will only be made available after passed by Parliament and gazetted.
Yes.
But after that, there's no, the objection process is already passed.
Correct. So we were very worried when we saw this letter, and I personally went to Putrajaya to verify, and I got the same answer. The maps are not available for sale.
So, for all practical purposes then, I now want to know whether this redelimitation is going to improve the situation so that maybe we can move away from the skewed result of the 13GE. 47% of the votes wins you 60% of the seats. I will not be able, for all practical purposes, then to verify whether or not the relimitation is in fact going to improve the situation.
If you, as an individual voter, I think it's practically impossible with the current barriers to participating in the delimitation process. That's why Tinder Malaysia has, on their own initiative, tried to assemble 220 photographers throughout the country to take photographs of these maps, accurate, precise photographs, so that we can assemble them into a mosaic, a jigsaw puzzle of the whole country.
I want to stop you there first before we get into that. How, in your view, how important is this move by Tinder Malaysia to equalize the constituencies? How important is that if we are going to correct the situation that led to that skewed result of the 13GE, 47 votes wins you 60%. How important is the equalizing initiative?
We have done 2 equalization exercises. The first equalization exercise we did was reported in the February forum this year, we ignored all the duns and we equalized the parliament within the state.
Okay.
The results we got were 47% votes, got 48% seats.
If you conclude from that, would you say it is critical to ending the skewed result that we keep seeing?
If you equalize the maps that we have done, and we did a second exercise which took into account the dun and parliament, and normally, like I mentioned previously, even though taking that into account, we got very similar results, 47% votes to 48% seats.
A closer reflection then of the will of the Rakyat.
Well, this is literally one man, one vote, one value.
Okay, we'll stop there. It's clear from this discussion up to now that the effort to equalize our constituencies is critical to restoring democracy to this nation. Now, in our final segment, I'm going to get P.Y. Wong to share with us what we, the Rakyat, can do in the effort to restore democracy back to our nation. Until then, thank you.